Okay, it's 12:01, so I'm going to open up the meeting. And the first thing I'll do is read the accessibility statement. This meeting is accessible to people with disabilities. Microphones or telephone will be used by all speakers. Large print materials are available upon advance request. If you would like either of these accommodations, please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833, extension 202. The notice of non-discrimination rights and protections to beneficiaries under the federal section 6/ non-discrimination protections and the state non-discrimination protections is posted in this meeting room and is available on the Colony Planning Council website. And again, please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833, and she will provide the information. And thank you. I'd like to open up the meeting and call to order. And I'll turn this over to Bill for the introductions, to call on people. Noreen O'Toole Whitman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll go by community and then entity. So Abington.
John Stone, Abington.
Bruce
Thank you.
Hughes alternate. Bruce Hughes alternate.
Thank you. Avon.
Bill Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Bill. Bridgewater. No one from Bridgewater. Brockton.
I am here, Rob May.
Happy birthday.
Thanks,
Thank
Rob.
you.
Duxbury. East Bridgewater. Easton.
Dave Field.
Welcome, Dave. Thank you. Halifax. No one. Hanover. Hanson.
John Howard in the list. I'm not sure if he's
Yeah.
active.
I did see Don. Thank you. Hanover. Okay. Kingston. Okay. Pembroke. Plymouth. Plimpton. Stoughton. West Bridgewater. Whitman.
Dan Salvucci alternate.
Thank you. And okay, so in Brockton Area Transit, I know Glenn is here. Anyone
I'm here as well. Michael.
Welcome. Thanks, Mike. Anyone from MassDOT District 5? Okay. How about MassDOT Boston? Okay. Anyone else that I did not call on that wishes to be the incident director? We do have staff on the.
Bill, why don't you, for the record, just list everybody from OCPC who's on?
Sure.
Well, before you do that, I tuned in a little bit late, but this is James Downey from the town of Plymouth.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello.
Okay, and from Old Colony Planning Council, so we have Mary Waldron, our executive director. We have Charles Kilmer, our assistant director and transportation program manager. Myself, principal transportation planner. We have Ray Garino, principal transportation planner. Guo Chang Lee, principal transportation planner. Sean Bailey, senior transportation planner. Kyle Mowat, senior transportation planner. Is there anyone that I missed? All right. And it's back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Bill, and welcome, everyone. On to item number 2, which is public comments. Do I hear any public comments? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to move forward to item 3, minutes of the meeting of May 6, 2021. Do I have a motion or comments on the minutes?
I'll make the motion, Dan from Whitman.
Okay, second that motion.
Rob May, seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Item number 4, communications, and that would be Sean.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. There are a few items for the communications this month. First is a MassDOT State Transportation Improvement Program update. They have announced the availability of the draft project listings for the state tip from federal fiscal years 22 to 26. They are available for review by clicking on the provided link right here. And if you have any other questions, please contact the MassDOT Title VI strategist. The next is the CIP public process announcement. MassDOT is currently developing a one-year maintenance of effort for their capital investment plan. And if you have any questions or would like to view more information, please click on the link provided. And at the bottom of your screen where it says comments must be received, it has actually been changed to June 14th, so 1 week after this listed date. Next item is an announcement about RAISE discretionary grants. USDOT has published a notice of funding opportunity to apply for $1 billion in fiscal year 21 discretionary grant funding through the Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity grants. Projects will be evaluated based on criteria that include safety, quality of life, state of good repair, as well as other aspects. For this round of grants, the maximum award will be $25 million, and no more than $100 million can be awarded to a single state. If you would like any further information, please click on the following links. The deadline to apply is July 12th. Next, the Transit Matters report from May 18th. All-day frequent service on Old Colony lines can be achieved for a sum of $630 million, as was in their most recent report on how the MBTA's commuter rail lines can be transformed into fast, frequent regional rail. In addition, vast increases in frequency are possible through double tracking the Dorchester bottleneck and Quincy Center stations. Fixing the bottleneck will also make regular service to Cape Cod communities, subsuming the Cape Flyer service possible, boosting tourism and allowing residents to travel to Boston by train year-round. For more information, please click on the provided link. And then this is an announcement about the CIP details that was previously mentioned. And that is all.
Thank you, Sean. Does anyone have any questions for Sean? All right, hearing none, I'm going to move on to 5 reports. First report is BAT. Would that be Mike?
Would be. Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome.
First and most importantly, as usual, I'll give the safety update. We are at about 80% vaccination rate, which is great for the workforce, and everyone is healthy at the moment. Just take this opportunity to remind everyone that based on federal TSA rules and regulations, masks are still required on all transit facilities and vehicles. We received discretionary grants from MassDOT to help support our expanded Stoughton service, as well as to support the commuter rail initiative that we have ongoing with the MBTA to provide Zone 1A low-cost fares from Brockton's 3 stations to JFK UMass and South Station. That program will continue through mid-September. But many thanks to MassDOT for those awards. Speaking of that, the Transit Matters mentioned the expansion of commuter rail service would prove a benefit to Cape Flyer service. Cape Flyer has started up once again this summer. It is currently stopping at Brockton, but we received word that that stop is under threat based on low ridership. So I encourage everyone to spread the word about great way to travel down to the Cape, and heading out of the Brockton station is a great decision. We have new shelters that have arrived to be distributed throughout the city, throughout the service area. So if you have any requests, please forward them to us. And last, and perhaps most interestingly, our board voted last meeting to offer free fares on the weekends throughout the summer to help support Brockton, Stoughton, and our neighboring communities return to business. So we're still working out the exact details on that, but we will certainly, we're certainly excited about that, and we'll look to this group to help promote that endeavor. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mike. Item B, which is the Greta
Oh, excuse
Attleboro.
me, Madam Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
Hi
ahead.
there. Could I address our DBE goal briefly?
Yes.
Thanks so much. I'm
Sorry
filling in
about
for,
that.
no, that's okay. That's all right. I'm filling in for Linda. So, one second. So Beth has established our 3-year DBE goal. This is a requirement from the U.S. Department of Transportation to award a percentage of eligible contract dollars to DBEs. Our goal has been set for 2.5%, a goal that BAT plans to achieve through public outreach by public participation in DBE workshops and contacting DBE firms as contracting opportunities arrive. Our goal and methodology is on our website, ridebat.com. And any questions about the DBE program could be forwarded to me and then on to Linda. Linda just wanted me to note that our goal of 2.5% over 3 years is equivalent to about $10 million worth of DOT assisted contracting opportunities that will be awarded over that 3-year period. Thanks.
Thank you. Any questions on the disadvantaged business enterprise goals that I missed? Okay. Thank you so much, Glenn.
Thanks, Noreen.
Yep. Any questions, anyone? Hearing none, I'm going to move on to B, which is Sean, which is the Greta Attleboro Taunton Regional Transit Authority, GATRA.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I have a very very quick update for GATRA. GATRA is back to full service on all of their fixed routes, which is an amazing amazing feat to accomplish. They are also adding another GATRA Go vehicle in the South Plymouth area, and they are also going to be adjusting some of their routes in the Wareham area, and that is the only update that I have.
That's very good news, Sean. Very good news.
I was very pleased to receive that update.
Any questions for Sean? Item C, which is the South Coast Rail Project, that would be you, Sean?
Yes, thank you again, Madam Chair. As everyone knows, the South Coast Rail Project is going to be restoring commuter rail service to South Coast communities down to Taunton, Fall River, New Bedford by 2023. Some of the updates that occurred to the project in the month of May, if you could scroll down, please. Thank you. Some of the primary work on it included some track work at the Middleborough layover yard, installation of new track in the town of Assonet parallel to Richmond Road, and then continued tree clearing from the East Taunton station further south to the Myrick's Junction station and continuing onward from there. On the secondary Fall River line, a contractor is installing support for excavation that will be taking place in the city of Fall River, which resulted in a single lane closure temporarily. And then there is also construction of retaining walls along the right of way in Fall River as well as Berkeley. And then just other work is just, further site preparation, drainage and utility installation, and other necessary items for the project. And if anybody is interested in receiving weekly updates for the South Coast Rail Project, please click on the provided link so that you can enter an email address and have the updates sent directly to you.
Great. Any questions for Sean in South Coast Rail? All right, I'm going to move on to item 6, which is old business, which is the FFY 2021 to 2025, the TIP implementation program. Charlie?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So we're here to provide an update on the current TIP, which is still active until the end of September, in about 3 months to go. So on your screen, there are 2 highlights and updates on projects. The first is in Stoughton, the improvement project at Richard Wilkins Elementary School. That's a Safe Routes to School project, which includes sidewalk improvements, street improvements, off-road sidewalk path was advertised for construction bids by MassDOT on May 29th. And the bid opening is scheduled for July 7th. And the second update we have is the Route 24 project in Avon Stoughton. The design engineer submitted the plan specifications and estimate. This is their second resubmission of that package, and that was done about a month ago on May 7th. And those were the two main updates we had on the current tip. I report that all of the highway projects have been advertised for construction bids. So we achieved 100% advertising of all the highway projects, and those scrolling through the other list of other projects. If anybody has any questions, we can certainly entertain those at this time.
Any questions? I'm going to move on to 7, which is new business, which is the election of the Old Colony JTC offices for 2021 to 2022. And is there a report available?
There is. Glenn, did you want to take this?
Is John here? Maybe.
I'm
I'd
sorry.
be happy to. That's okay. I'd be
Sorry,
happy
sorry
to.
about that, Glenn. You can take it if you want, Glenn.
Okay. John and I met as members of the nomination committee. We discussed with OCPC's staff, those who were nominated for the position of chair and vice chair. We considered, and John and I both nominated Noreen O'Toole as chair, Daniel Salvucci as vice chair, and that was unanimous.
Thank you.
So at this, thank you. So I guess at this time, I would nominate Noreen O'Toole for position of chair and Daniel Salvucci for vice chair.
Okay.
I second that.
Okay. So
Thank you,
we
Glenn.
I think we have our officers nominated. So we'll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Sorry to interrupt you, Bill.
Oh no, that's fine. It's my first time doing this, so I appreciate the lift.
Accept nominations? Do they have to do that?
Yeah.
Thank you all very much for having confidence in myself and Dan. We both appreciate it. I'm going to move on to item B under 7, which is the draft FFY 2022, the Old Colony Unified Planning Work Program, and that would be Charlie.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the Old Colony MPO released the draft 2022 Unified Planning Work Program to a public review and comment period. They will be convening on June 15th at 10 a.m. virtually to hear public comments and consider endorsements. So what we have for you today is a presentation on the draft plan, and the Unified Planning Work Program is basically the scope of work and budget for the transportation staff of OCPC, which forms the work of the Old Colony MPO. And it provides an overview of tasks, and it provides budgetary information. I note that the UPWP is funded by 4 main entities, they being Federal Highway Administration, Federal Transit Administration, MassDOT, and the Brockton Area Transit. In sum total, the UPWP budget is about $1 million. And the UPWP itself is divided into 4 main tasks. The first of which is what you can see on your screen, and that's Task 1000. And then Task 1000 is divided into several subtasks. So just a quick overview of what's in this section is 3C program support, which is basically our administrative side of the UPWP and contract maintenance, budgeting, evaluations, etc. We have a task for the development of the next UPWP, which will be the 2023 one. We have operation of the public participation program. We have development and implementation of the transportation improvement program. And then finally, in this section, we have a task on Title VI and environmental justice. Moving on to task 2000, that's our data reconnaissance, acquisition, and analysis activities. And there are several main tasks in here focused on demographic research, land use surveillance. It's where Bill McNulty operates the inputs to the Mass Bills online database of development projects across the region. Task 2200 is the multimodal transportation system data surveillance, and essentially that's our traffic counting, turning movement counting, and most excitingly perhaps for at least the staff members here at OCPC is last week we received our DJI Phantom 4 Pro drone. So we have going to have drone capabilities and report that we have 2 certified drone pilots on staff now. The first being Kyle Mowat and the second is Sean Bailey. And this Friday, Andrew Vidal will be taking his remote pilot's license. And then we're going to have a 4th staff person, Elijah Romulus, in the comprehensive planning department, undertaking the training and taking the licensing for that drone. Also in this section, we have system planning and resource. That's our kind of staff development, conferences, etc. We have geographic information systems. That's the Andrew Vidal and Matthew Cady. All the cool maps that get produced for us. And then lastly, in this section, we have management systems. Sean Bailey operates a congestion management process. Ray Garino takes the lead on the pavement management systems, and Bill McNulty takes the lead on the safety management systems. And also here we have a 4-step travel demand model, which our new staff member, Ko Cheng Lee, will be taking the lead on. Next, we have task 3000, short and long range planning. And here we have some recurring tasks, such as the first 2, regional traffic studies, local highway technical assistance, which is led by Bill. But then the next 3 are somewhat discretionary studies, the first being road safety audits at multiple locations. This will be a continuation of a current program we have ongoing right now, where we envision doing about 15 to 20 road safety audits across the region. And it's theorized that in the upcoming UPWP that we will accomplish that same amount in the upcoming federal fiscal year. Next task here is high priority quarter study screening process. As you recall from years past, one of the things that the staff here does is prepare a 20-year long-range transportation plan. So this will help feed the needs assessment. We're going to look at the arterials across the region, screen them for congestion, safety, access to transit, bike and ped mobility, and different screening assessments. And this will help come up with a prioritized list for a long-range transportation plan. Next, we have a freight planning and action plan study. This is where we're going to take a look at freight in the region, goods movement, industrial parks, access to and from those parks, access to regional highways, the national highway system, and to take a look at freight movement, how it's changed, especially with the pandemic. We've seen some new facilities such as Amazon coming up, and hearing some complaints about increased truck traffic through neighborhoods and whatnot. So this will help inform our overall freight network and planning process. And then rounding out, we have a task on performance-based planning, which looks at different safety and performance measures. And then finally, to round out the slate of tasks is task 4000, which is other transportation technical activities. The first being transit technical assistance. And this is where we envision starting work on development of the next coordinated human service transportation plan. And then rounding out this slate is we have that planning and technical assistance study. This is where we enter into contract with the fine folks at Brockton Area Transit to conduct such studies as ridership reports, fare elasticity models, service planning change studies, and the like. And as we're scrolling through, if anybody's actually interested in, hey, where have you done some of your data collection? We had an inquiry the other day about, metadata and data. So staff put together this snapshot of some of the data collection activities from federal fiscal years 2015 through 2020. And in the middle of the screen, there's two columns on automatic traffic counter locations, and it's stratified by community. So for example, over that time period, you saw there were 145 locations counted in Brockton. Moving over to the right, there were 80 turning movement count. It's done in Brockton, and then a little further over, the number of technical assistance study, there were actually 10 in Brockton. So people can navigate through this spreadsheet, if you will, and see where we've done some of our data collection in low-cost technical assistance to the communities. And that concludes the presentation and overview. And Bill has the sum total of 130 odd pages, and I will now start to read every page in great detail. Actually, I won't, but now we'll just open it up for questions. So as mentioned, this is out for a public review and comment period. This would actually be an action item from the Joint Transportation Committee. So if there's no questions and it's the pleasure of the committee, we would seek approval of said document.
Okay, I'd like to put that motion on the floor to seek approval of the Unified Planning Work Program.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second to that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now, Bill, are you going to give us an update on the road safety audits at
Mhm.
multiple locations?
Yes, I am.
Great. Okay,
thank
you're
you.
on.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this is just a quick update on the road safety audit at multiple locations program. As Charlie mentioned a few minutes ago, this is a program that's going on this year, and it's actually going to continue on next year. So this is just an update on where we are at. So you can see on your screen where we've done road safety audits so far. So we did 2 in the town of Abington. We've done 1 in the town of Easton, 1 in the town of Kingston, and then 1 in the town of Stoughton. And then next week, we have 3 more scheduled, 1 in Hanover and 2 in the town of Plymouth. So at the end of next week, we'll have completed 8 road safety audits. That's halfway to when we entered into this program. We had a goal of at least 15 locations. So this will bring us to halfway to that goal, and it's a good place where we want to be right now. And then I'll scroll down a little bit further, and then you can see as the summer goes on, the locations that we have targeted. So we have 3 locations in the city of Brockton. Those will be next after next week. Then we have 1 in Avon, 1 in Bridgewater, 1 in East Bridgewater, 1 in Plymouth, and then 2 in West Bridgewater. And there are other locations on our list. If we, have time in this program, we'll certainly get to those. If not, then they'll carry into the program next year. So we're in a good place with this program right now. It's been very successful. We're very appreciative of the communities that participate in the audits that we've had so far, as well as our legislative delegation. I think we've had either state reps or state senators or representatives of them at each road safety audit, which is awesome. The virtual environment is actually, while it's, it's unusual, and we had to learn on the go, so to speak, because this was traditionally a program where we actually go onto the field and meet at these intersections. It's actually been successful, where we've gotten a lot of participation, and and MassDOT has been super cooperative with us, and it's been very successful.
I just wanted to add to that, Bill, that I've been a part of quite a few road safety audits, and just everybody meeting together and getting, Mass DOT involved has been a great experience for people to just, it's almost like go out there and feel what's going on in the community versus, looking at a plan or discussing it. So I'm glad that it's back to everybody meeting, because I think that's really needed, now that there's, I don't want to say more traffic, but there is more traffic, more people are out and about now.
Mhm.
But I think it's a great program. Nice job you guys have been doing for quite a few years on this. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions on this for Bill? All right, I'm going to move on to D, which is the regional traffic volumes and the commuter parking trends during the pandemic and the recovery thereof. And that would be Sean.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Bill, may I be able to share my screen, please?
Yep. Okay, should be all set to share.
Very good. Can you all see my presentation?
I can.
Okay, very good. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sean Bailey. I'm a senior transportation planner with Old Colony, and I'm here to talk to you about our regional traffic volumes and commuter parking trends during the pandemic, as well as in the recent months during the recovery phase. Here we go. Okay, so since my last update, which I believe was at the November JTC meeting, traffic, continued its decrease into November and as well as December and even into the new year. But since January, traffic has been on the uptick significantly in March, which you will see in the graphs that I provide in this presentation. The month of March saw the first single-digit monthly differences since October of 2020, which is a sign that traffic is going in the right direction. One of the 8 locations that I've been analyzing had traffic higher than the baseline in the months of March as well as May, which was a nice sign. Easter traffic, pun intended, took a large hop. And, obviously traffic on Easter in 2020 was significantly lower, but just, from a data perspective, the differences on Easter 2021 were extremely eye-opening. And with all the COVID-19 restrictions being lifted this past Saturday, traffic hopefully will continue towards the pre-pandemic levels and get back to normal. And as I've mentioned before, the data used for this project was extracted from MassDOT's MS2 Transportation Data Management System. And here's a map of the 8 locations that I've used for this project. 5 of them are on Route 24, 1 is on Interstate 495, and 2 of them are on Route 3. And then just, here's, I'll be going through the graphs quickly of each of the locations. The data in green is from 2019, the baseline year, and then blue is data from 2020. And as you can see in the table on the bottom of the bar chart, just looking at the blue lines in February and March, I think it was either 5 or 6 locations had an average daily traffic increase of at least 10,000 vehicles, just going from February to March. And it's just, it's nice seeing traffic get back to the levels that they were. I mean, obviously it's not nice sitting in traffic, but it's just nice that things are progressing back towards normal. And here's a look at the overall traffic combined from all of the 8 locations. And as you can see from the month of February, the total was just over 663,000. And then going to March, the average daily traffic was 744,000. So a jump of a little over 80,000 vehicles between the 2 months. And, the traffic is continuing to increase as we work towards the summer when more people are going to be out and about. And then here's a comparison of 2019 and 2020 with the state's reopening phases and other restriction recalls. And then I thought it would be kind of an interesting graphic to see how the traffic has gone from March 2020 to March 2021, just showing the initial dip and then slowly moving back up, going back down into the fall and into the winter, and beginning its increased trend going into the spring of 2021. And then also this chart as well for the average daily traffic, a little over 18% down in March, almost 50% down in April, and all the way to the right, March 2021, overall only 3.4% down from the baseline traffic for this past March. And then here's the Easter data that I told you about. All of the locations saw over a 100% increase in traffic. The average across all 8 of these was 127%. And the highest was at the Raynham location on Interstate 495 south of Route 24, which saw over a 150% increase in traffic on Easter.
Wow.
Yeah, that was quite eye-opening.
Yeah.
And just results in looking ahead, the steep increase in March was most likely due to the reopening phases progression, as well as the vaccine rollout and distribution. As I just said, all across all locations, Easter traffic was 127% higher. With low COVID-19 rates and high vaccination rates, I believe Massachusetts is one of, if not the most vaccinated states in the country. More people will definitely be enjoying outdoor activities this summer. Many people went outside last summer, but just with the vaccination rates being what they are, definitely going to see a higher increase in traffic and outdoor activities. And the month of May was the first month with over 800,000 vehicles for their average daily traffic since October 2019. So even 5 months before COVID-19 hit, and it was the month that saw the highest average daily traffic since the beginning of the pandemic. And we have a page on our website with this data, as well as an interactive map that we update regularly. And the link for the webpage is provided right here. And going forward, going to talk to you about the CMP data collection that we do at 16 commuter rail stations in both within and adjacent to our region. Like this past October, we conducted the count, as you may recall, in April 2020. Being 1 month into COVID-19, we decided that for employee safety, we would not be visiting the locations, and the MBTA provided the data. However, in this past April, we did not visit the Plymouth station because it was temporarily out of service. It was one of a handful of stations that the MBTA shut down temporarily. And, we did anticipate the increased trend from April to October of last year to continue, partially from the MBTA restoring its service to 100% pre-pandemic levels due to funding from various sources such as the CARES Act, as well as the progression of the reopening phases and the vaccine distribution. Here is the data results. The highest vehicle count at a station was at South Weymouth with 89 vehicles. The only location that had bicycles was the BAT facility, and no, I'm sorry, was the Stoughton train station, as well as South Weymouth and Abington. And then here's a comparison of the last April that was not interrupted by COVID. April 2019 is in blue. This past April is in red, as you can see, still far below what a normal year looks like. And then here's a progression of April 2020 to this past April. April 2020 is in blue, and April 2021 is in red. There were multiple stations, I believe 5 in total, that had 0 vehicles in April 2020. That is something that we have not seen since then, nor had we ever seen that before COVID hit. And then here's a comparison of this past October compared to April 2021. As you can see, there was not really a significant increase. Some stations saw an increase in utilization, some stations saw a decrease. It was in the same ballpark as it was in October, so really not an overall or a major increase. The only station that had a significant increase was the Bridgewater commuter rail station that jumped from 48 to 76 vehicles. And then here's a graphic that I kind of created recently. Just wanted to show a utilization by commuter rail line with the Kingston and Plymouth line, the Middleborough Lakeville line, and the Providence Stoughton line, showing the data over the last 10 years. As you can see, it was trending in the right direction up until when COVID-19 hit.
Wow.
Yeah, just to see it go from so many vehicles just drop down, you know, in April 2020, the Providence Stoughton line between the 3 stations had 15 vehicles. And then Kingston, Plymouth, all the stations had a combined 23. And then the Middleborough Lakeville line had a combined 61 vehicles. And then even, you know, similar data just from a percentage standpoint, utilization, you know, seeing the Stoughton, you know, the Providence Stoughton line, for example, was in the upper 80s, lower 90s% utilized, and then dropped all the way down into the single digits. And then here's a total for all 3 lines over the past 10 years, you know, was increasing basically every year, and then dropped down to a total of 99 vehicles for the April 2020 count, and you know, increased in this past October, and a slight increase from 2 months ago. And then percent utilized as well. And so the results, as I said, most stations had a similar utilization from October 2020. There was not really much of an increase from the 6 months prior. Highest vehicle count was 89 at South Weymouth, and Montello was the highest utilized at 17.9%. The combined utilization was only 8.5% across all commuter rail stations. From 2011 to 2019, the average combined utilization of all 3 lines of every station visited was 61.9%. And going off of what Charlie had mentioned earlier, with OCPC's drone program, we are planning on conducting October 2021's count utilizing our drone program. It has a feature where we can send it up into the sky and have it fly around and scan the parking lot and then tally up the cars on its own. So we are planning on using that for this fall and for going forward. And then lastly, park and ride parking trends. We did not visit in April 2020 just because of employee safety, and MassDOT does not visit these locations as parking at their facilities is free. The October 2020 results were significantly lower, and similar with commuter rail, we did anticipate an increase from October to 2020 to April 21 with the reopening phases and vaccine rollout. When we visited in April, the Plymouth and Brockton bus service that operates along the Route 3 corridor was still inactive. However, the Bloom bus service that services the West Bridgewater Park and Ride was active during the COVID-19 pandemic. And then here is the results from our April visit. There were two locations, Rockland along Route 3 and West Bridgewater along Route 24, that did have over 100 vehicles. The highest utilized location was West Bridgewater at 55.68%. And then similar to the commuter rail, here is the comparison of the last April count that we did that was not interrupted by COVID. Blue is 2019 and red is 2021. As you can see, far below what the normal numbers are. And then progression from October 20 and April 21. Similar with commuter rail, same general ballpark. You know, the biggest difference was Plymouth and Rockland with a difference of seven vehicles, and then similar by corridor with commuter rail, just showing the overall data for the locations visited. And as you can see on the bottom of the chart with the Route 44 corridor, there was a Commerce Way park and ride down in Plymouth that became inactive after the October 2014 count, and now has a small business strip on that property. And then, you know, by percentage, you know, the Route 24 and Route 3 corridors were in the 80 to 90% range, and then, you know, dropped down to zero just because we had no way of knowing what data they had. And then the Route 3 corridor, went up to 16 in October and 17.3% in April. And then the Route 24 jumped up to the upper 40% range for the last 2 counts that we did. And then here's the overall data for all of the locations, as well as the percent utilization. And the results in looking forward, statistically, half of the lots increased, but not significantly. Similar with commuter rail, still in the same ballpark. The lots along the Route 3 corridor were most likely carpool, just because the Plymouth and Brockton bus service was not operating during the April count. They did resume their bus service on May 14th and expanded it to full service on May 27th. So hopefully we can see an increase in utilization, at least along those 4 park and ride lots come October. And I have not heard any update from MassDOT in quite some time, but I know the plan for Route 3 is adding a new park and ride in Pembroke along Route 139 right off of Route 3. They've been talking about that for a few years. I do not know where that stands. If anybody from MassDOT on this call or in this meeting knows any information about that, please if you know any information, please make it available. The combined utilization of all the park and ride lots was 23.7%. And from 2011 to 2019, the average combined utilization was 76.5%. So a little over 50% down from what it normally is. And similar with commuter rail, we plan on conducting October's count as well as future counts using our new drone. And that is the presentation that I have. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I do, Sean. Awesome presentation.
Thank you.
Great information. Have you utilized the drone for collecting information as of yet on any of your projects?
No, we did receive the drone in, I believe it was this Friday of last week. And
okay.
We are still waiting on getting insurance for the drone. That is something that we are still in process of.
Okay.
So we have not even practiced with the drone as of yet.
Yeah, I think it's great. I can't wait for the updates.
Yeah,
on your new program. Yes.
Yeah, it will be. It's going to be very exciting.
Oh, it is. It really is. Great presentation. Does anyone have any questions for Sean? I had a comment, Sean. I was wondering if you will see that your numbers will change because more people will continue to stay home and work remotely than they probably normally wouldn't. Is that kind of environment going to change for the future? Are you seeing any of that yet?
That's kind of information that we don't really have much details on right at the moment, just because there have been a number of businesses. The only, one of the main ones I can think of was Google, that last year they announced that even when COVID-19 is over, all of their employees will work 100% remote. And I can't think of any specific companies in mind, but I've heard of other businesses and companies that have moved out of their office entirely to work from home because they're able to, and it saves leasing, an office space.
Money, yeah.
And and just saving money in that way. I know a lot of jobs are looking to get back to full in person, but some offices are also going to be working a hybrid schedule, giving employees the option of working from home, 1-2 days a week, or maybe even full time if they're able to do so. So I guess that's information that we don't really know right now, and we'll just have to wait and see as time goes along where it stands when it gets there.
Yeah, I think that may be reflective of your numbers in the future.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, in the business world. Any comments or questions for Sean?
Madam Chair, I was going to comment that
Yes.
Based on some experience that I have through clients and family, I think you're going to see a demographic shift. You're going to see families working more from home and single people wanting to go back to Boston. Sean's shaking his head. I know that my daughter's firm moved from Boston to Norwood, and she said it was a plus minus because she now has about a 15-minute commute and no commuter rail charges and free parking, but on the same time, she can't go out for lunch and enjoy the city, before, after, and during work. So I think you may find that there's going to be a demographic line in the future as to who wants to go in and who wants to stay home.
That is an excellent point.
Any other
Madam Chair.
comments?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, hi.
Yes.
Sean, that park and ride that you were talking about off 139 in Pembroke, there was one, I mean, there still is one up behind that strip plaza, by Lowe's.
So
And,
that is actually no longer a park and ride. The Lowe's purchased that
Yeah.
side, those parking spaces.
Really?
And we have not
Yeah.
visited Pembroke. And I want to say it's been maybe 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I just wanted clarification on that, because that had been the park and ride back when I was counting them.
Yes,
That was a location.
that is correct. But what I have been told by MassDOT is when they determine a location for a new Pembroke park and ride on 139 right off of Route 3, the Kingston park and ride off of Route 3, I believe it's along 53 and 3A, that has temporarily moved because the original location of the Kingston lot is now a Starbucks.
Oh,
And
geez, yeah, that's right.
they have taken over a part of that shopping plaza's parking lot along the outside edge, and they have signs up, dictating where to park if you're there for the park and ride. But once they determine a Pembroke location and construct it, the Kingston location will be shut down.
I just had one other question. I put it in the chat. We were going through Braintree this past weekend, and we saw a commuter train on the line in Braintree that goes down to Brockton. Have they restarted the commuter rail on weekends?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, because I don't think I ever saw an announcement on that. And
So I
also
posted a
another one
link in the-
last comment, I promise. I've seen the new P&B buses. They're really beautiful, the dark blue ones. And I saw one of those in Rockland the other day. I'm glad that Win Sargent has made the investment. I know Win, and I'm glad that he's made the investment and he's purchased a new fleet of buses. And that's really good. It's good to have that component back in the mix as far as transit in our region goes. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And as Charlie said, he posted a link in the chat, Bruce, if you would like to see it, an updated Middleborough schedule that does include Saturday, Sunday, and holiday schedule on it.
That's good to know. Thank you, guys.
That was effective April 5th.
Good to know. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
I'm going to move forward to item 8, other business. And A would be community local technical assistance studies, and that would be Bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I just have a brief update with this program. So a couple weeks ago, we met with the Board of Selectmen in town of Kingston. We talked about a study that we did a couple of years ago, for 2018, for the historic district in Kingston. So that would be Main Street and Summer Street and Green Street, Evergreen Street, that Elm Street, that area. So, and that was a very successful meeting and presentation, and we received some additional requests from the town of Kingston. So one is to assist the town in pursuing a heavy commercial vehicle exclusion for Green Street in that said historic district, and we're currently working on that. They're also interested in a feasibility study of if a heavy commercial vehicle exclusion could be pursued for Smith's Lane, which runs between the Kingston collection area down to Route 3A. So we'll be doing that, and data collection for that will occur a little later this summer. And they've also asked our assistance on and guidance for looking at rerouting Route 106 and the National Highway system away from Main Street onto Evergreen Street. The there is an issue in that area. A lot of those structures are historic with stone foundations, and vibrations from the traffic are causing some structural issues with those foundations. Making that change would eventually allow getting a heavy commercial vehicle exclusion on Main Street to lessen the vibrations on the ground and prevent any future structural damage to those buildings. Yeah, this is, honestly, this is an unusual request. It's not new. We have worked with the town on this before, and we'll continue to work on it because it is it's important to the community. And we'll continue to work on this and look to facilitating coordination with MassDOT as well as the Federal Highway Administration, since this is a national highway route, that they would certainly be involved as well. The town of Plimpton, they've requested that we assist them with some truck exclusions through the community. So that is ongoing. And not omitted from this report, but equally important, the town of Halifax has requested that we assist them with looking at left turn lanes on Route 106 to some business areas, seeing if left turn lanes are warranted in the first place, and the process that they'd go about with that. And so we're assisting them with that. And we're also assisting them, same roadway guidance on removal of passing zones. So taking an existing passing zone and making it a no passing zone. So those are new requests that we have. So the program is busy, and I'm scrolling through. You can see the other requests that we're currently working on. So that's my report. Happy to answer any questions if anybody has any.
That's not my town.
Any comments or questions for Bill?
Yeah, I have one, Noreen.
All right, go ahead. Dan.
Knowing Kingston very well, Bill, where do they expect the tractor trailers that are transporting cranberries that are down in that area off of 106 to transport cranberries if they need to go to the highway? I mean, Main Street coming straight 106 and straight all the way Main Street all the way to the expressway. It seems to be the straight route. If they were to continue 106 and go left down Evergreen Street down by the new town hall and in area and end in the center of town, that would seem to be too congested by doing that. I don't understand what they're looking to get done.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an idea that they're looking at right now. Like I said, they have this issue with the structural integrity and foundations in that area from vibrations in the ground. And I think perhaps the easiest solution would be to mitigate impacts from truck traffic. The most expensive obviously would be some sort of retrofitting program for those structures. So this is just a issue that it's come up with the community before. It continues to be an area that they want to look at, and whether it ever comes to fruition, and who knows, but it'll take a lot of analysis. If it does get that far, we'll certainly be doing level of service analysis. We'll be looking at how rerouting trucks would impact Evergreen Street as well as those intersections. Right now it's very preliminary.
That knowing the area after being a cop there for 10 years, that's a tight situation. And I know that the people that where 106 ends, and the Main Street goes all the way down to where it comes into 3A. I know a lot of people are complaining about the speed going by the new police station. So they're trying to slow the speed down. But as far as heavy traffic, I know those are older buildings, but that's going to be a tough situation to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Interesting. Okay, that's all I have, Bill. Sorry.
Good.
Thank you,
Good
Dan.
input.
Any
Thank you,
other,
Dan.
any other comments or questions for Bill? Thank you, Bill. Great presentation.
Thank you,
I'm
Madam
gonna
Chair.
move on to item B, which is staff reviews of ENFs, EIRs, and NPCs, and that would be Kyle.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're
So
welcome.
we have two new ENFs filed since last JTC meeting, and we have one new certificate. The first ENF is in Halifax for Eldana Road land swap. And this is a sliver of land, about 39,000 square feet, that runs along the south side of Eldana Road for a distance of about 2,500 feet. The town of Halifax is looking to acquire this sliver of land to create a safer layout at the location of a pronounced sharp curve on that road, which is a gravel surfaced public way. And currently the town has no proposal for any changes or improvements. No plans have been prepared or funds approved, and the town doesn't anticipate generating any proposal in the next 5 years. The next ENF is in West Bridgewater for Lincoln Park. This proposed project is centered around the development of a 350,000 square foot warehouse. And potentially there'll be another 100,000 square foot warehouse or an expanded trailer park area. The northernmost corner of the property would be used in conjunction with a portion of the existing Lincoln Street layout for a 13,000 square foot retail venue. And that's on 1.5 acres of land. And the development of this project is predicated on the relocation of Lincoln Street to align with Crescent Street and other improvements to West Center Street 106 that are proposed as part of this project. Aligning of Lincoln Street and Crescent Street and placing these approaches under a traffic signal would improve the safety of the two offset unsignalized intersection approaches. And this project is going to be constructed in phases as to ensure that the size of the project continues to be appropriate for the site needs in the future. And lastly, the one certificate we have is for Plymouth, the release of house lot from agricultural preservation restriction for Dotton Road. And the certificate states that this project does not require an environmental impact report. And if anybody has any questions, I can answer them, but that concludes my my report.
Thank you, Kyle. Any questions for Kyle? All right, hearing none, I'm going to move on to item C, which is regional concerns and local community transportation. I'm going to open up the meeting for any comments or questions to everyone.
Madam Chair, I have a question for John
Yes.
Stone, if he's still on. John, are you still on? Well,
He does not appear to be on the participant list.
okay, well, yeah, I thought he was here earlier. Anyway, just I guess two comment questions. Lincoln Boulevard in Abington, Glenowitz Way that goes into the high school. They've been doing a lot of work on that, fixing the, I guess it's enhancing it for bicyclists and stuff like that. And that's interesting. It's an ongoing project. There was also a proposal before town meeting, and this would be an interest to Old Colony Planning Council. We approved the purchase of a site on Glenowitz Way, 0 Bedford Street, for a new fire station. And a lot of talk at town meeting was, there's only one way in and out of Glenowitz Way right now. And I remember a couple of years ago, Old Colony did a study under DLTA to look at alternative ways in and out of there. So I think that's something that Lisa Sullivan and Laurie Muncy worked on a few years ago. So I just wanted to bring that to the attention of Old Colony, that that's something that town of Abington seriously looking at. They did approve purchase money for the site off of Glenwood's Way. I guess it's near the housing for the elderly now. And a study's going to be done. Chief Nuttall, John Nuttall, the fire chief, doesn't think it'll be built in the 2 years that he has left being fire chief. But that just ties in with work with Old Colony did. Thank you.
Yeah, that Lincoln Boulevard project is a complete streets project.
It looks like it's getting done, which is great. Of course, it's kind of screws you up when you go up Lincoln Boulevard these days.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Bruce. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Are there any additional questions?
I have a comment, if I can,
ahead.
Noreen. Yeah, in the town of Whitman, we have a project going on through Complete Streets on Park and Essex Street next to our park, where Park Street comes down and where it bears right, we're gonna block that off, so it has to be a hard right to slow the traffic down. Because a lot of people that are in the park trying to cross the street going by Colbrook Cemetery and are heading on the outside where the police station is, it's been kind of dangerous, so they want to slow it down. So it's a project that's been going on for a few years, and it'll start to develop and very shortly this summer. We've already got the barrels out to kind of train the drivers of what it's going to look like. And then eventually we'll make that intersection a lot safer than what it has been. So just wanted to put that out there.
Thanks, Dan, for the update.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none. Thank you all. And do I hear a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And
Thanks, OCPC staff. Great meeting.
yeah, thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay,
And
thank you.
Thank you.
have a great weekend, everyone.
You as well.
You too.
Bye-bye.